code so slick, circus they gobble. Encrypted hustle, no chains, no marbles. Faster than the rest, cost stays humble. Breaking through the game, watch others crumble. Nobody do it like this, circus in the mist. Faster, cheaper, sharper, crypto alchemist. Others stuck in the lane, flipping the twist. Garble circus, baby, we the future, don't miss. Others move slow, we quantum and speed. Blocks they can't touch, fulfilling the need. Chains bound tight, but we unshackled. While they debug, our code is tackled. What they can't do, we already done. That game outdated, we just begun. Algorithms flex, they can't compete. Circuits garble, but the vision concrete. Nobody do it like this, circus in the mist. Faster, cheaper, sharper, crypto alchemist. Others stuck in the lane, flipping the twist. Garble circus, baby, we the future, don't miss.
Circuits garbled, but the vision concrete. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 44, season 2, COTI Confidential, on this Wednesday, New Year's Eve. What's happening? I'm here with the Viking. How's it going, Soren?
It's going great. Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to everyone else who's tuned in on this very short notice, super surprise confidential show.
Happy New Year. Wow, unbelievable. I can't believe we're here.
2025 has just flown past, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little over 2 years ago when we got the big document about COTI V2. And so Here we sit, and we're going to talk about it.
We certainly are.
You know, it's you can kind of see already that COTI's turning a little bit of a page with the marketing, with Mateo at the helm now for 2026, and I gotta say it's hard to see FRAT go, but it's gonna. You know what? I'm not saying it's gonna be better, and I'm not saying it's gonna be worse, but it will never be the same. So, thank you for everything, FRAT.
Absolutely, FRAT. Thank you very, very much. FRAT's been there from day one, and she's, if anyone, been synonymous with the project. So very tough to see her go, but you know, I think we can all agree, whether you're actually building or whether you're just investing or playing a part in a community, crypto is a tough gig. Web3 is a tough gig. And to have done 8 years of that, that's monumental. Yeah. So well done to her. She deserves a bit of rest now. So good for her.
Yeah, never heard a crossword. No. We'll dedicate this last one to you. Thank you so much. All right, take us out of here.
Right.
Let's go.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to do two updates. We're going to start with a very quick year in review. We've sort of touched on this at various times throughout the year, but I just thought we'll get everything in one go and then very briefly touch on it. And then we'll have a look at what's much more interesting, which is the year ahead. So with 2025 coming to an end, we can take a very quick look at what has been an extremely busy year for COTI. And it sort of puts everything into perspective. When we entered 2025, we were on the cusp of enhanced testnet. We weren't even at mainnet yet, but this was the last step before the launch of mainnet. And we were there with a very healthy looking ecosystem consisting of about 40 partnerships, wallets, CBDCs, governance, gaming, infrastructure, and a whole bunch of other verticals. Shortly after that, and about 3 months into 2025, we launched Mainnet, which was the culmination of 2 years of research and development of garbled circuits, which is, as we all know now, it's a privacy-preserving encryption technology that is both faster and lighter than anything else available. Mainnet stats to date are quite impressive, with more than 64 million transactions and currently running at about 2 to 250,000 transactions per day. And this is a number go up for the very foreseeable future. We got 2 mainnet upgrades. One hydrogen is already behind us, and the second one, helium, has already been prepped for and will take place in the early in the second week of January. During the build-up to Mainnet back in March, COTI also launched the Stay COTI platform, which is now more or less merged into Yarrow Labs, which is our grassroots initiative aimed at attracting the next 100 million developers. Headquartered in Bangkok, Yarrow arranges in-person workshops, boot camps, YouTube broadcasts, and so much more. And at the center of all this is a mission to teach would-be entrepreneurs how to vibe code actual code and deploy their projects on COTI. It furthermore comes with a $30 million grant program to assist projects with integrations and hardware and personnel costs, whatever these small startups need for help. Parallel to this, the first COTI Ambassador cohort, which you and I are part of, Tracer, sprung into action. Ambassadors, we have quite a few hats on. One of them is being in charge of business development for mid-tier projects. And this basically ensures that COTI throughout the years had a 3-pronged approach to business development, to building and populating our ecosystem. You got the Yarrow taking care of grassroots. You got guys like you, me, Prince, Vlad, Brad, looking after mid-tier projects, and you got the likes of Shahaf and Joshua looking after the top dogs. New partnerships have come regularly throughout the year, and we're now up to more than 80. At the beginning of this year, we had a very limited ecosystem that we could interact with daily, and this is really where we've seen the big change. When we entered 2025, we could log into Treasury, and we could check our staked COTI. That was it. Now we got still staking on Treasury. We got multiple DEXs. We got the NFT creation. We got an NFT marketplace. We got a perp DEX with autonomous trading agents. We got deep liquidity with USDC, with ETH, with BTC. We got a meme coin launch platform. We got borrowing and lending, mining and farming, swapping, launch platforms, multiple bridges, MetaMask integration, and so much more. It is absolutely amazing. People all the time talking about, what's going on with COTI? We're not moving. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. Just look at this. Look at how much we've actually achieved throughout this year. It is staggering. And, we actually now have the beginnings of a proper ecosystem where we can do our crypto-related business in essentially in a walled garden, if we want to. With privacy, and especially the programmable kind, emerging as a trend, and institutional finance still in the explorative phase of their approach to Web3, it's important that we're seen and heard in all the right places. And this is another area where COTI has been incredibly busy throughout the year with roundtable conferences and much more. We've announced memberships of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, where COTI is now part of the toolbox, which is given to all new projects building on Ethereum. We got the SAAIBC and the ATC, which is for visibility in the MENA region. We got the Tokenized Asset Coalition, DECC, and Privacy Guardians targeting big players. And Europe, Asia, and the US. Attracting more retail users has also been in focus with the launch of COTI Earn, where users new and old are rewarded with points for engaging with the ecosystem. More than 100,000 users, both old and new, but predominantly new, are engaging with the COTI Earn platform. Building an ecosystem, that's hard work. It takes a lot of patience. And when you're trying to position yourself for the inevitable tsunami of institutional money that will flood in, you need even more patience. Yeah, these things don't always happen overnight, but when they come, they come. COTI Network, in my humble opinion, has thoroughly succeeded in building a first-class platform that makes all of this possible. And I can't wait to see what 2026 has in store for us. But I'm quite sure, and I'm willing to bet on that it's going to easily top 2025. So that was a little bit the year in review. Like I said, we've talked about this throughout the year, Tracer, but I think really it sort of encapsulates all the work that's gone into this year. What do you think?
Yeah, but these updates, bro, like I always say, they're amazing. Yeah, it's been a long year. I'm not quite. I don't think I could put it any better than you, man.
Yeah, I remember you actually mentioned it in a few episodes ago that you used to have one tab open in the morning for your COTI overview. Yeah, how many is it now? You're probably up to about 10 with all your agents now as well.
Yeah, I guess because that wasn't happening yet. We didn't have Agents Arena yet. So yeah, I have a daily routine with everything from Carbon DeFi to Privex agents. And I mean, like lately it's been Privex agents. I've been glued to them. I've been watching yours. I've been watching the new ones. I've been looking through some of the old ones. Some of the ones that have been in there since before the beta. So obviously like team testing and stuff like that. And then I have a handful of my own, which, I'm trying to tune. And, if you have a handful of agents, you could spend, a good 8 hours a day on that. So yeah, but it's true. It's like I say, it's, we have toys now and we really do. And it seems like every month, there's something new coming. It's very different than it was 2 years ago. And I think for people who are, engaging with some of the, I'm not playing with these things for fun. You know what I mean? Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm not playing with these things just because of what we're doing as ambassadors. I'm playing with these things because I'm using them personally, right? So it's a whole different ball game, and this is just so much bigger than enterprise payments, merchant payments. There is no ceiling. But a lot of the, the big picture stuff, like the big stuff is going to take time. So it is definitely a multifaceted attack. It's also a multifaceted roadmap. And you know what? Doing this properly is going to take time. Price isn't where we want it. A lot of people have emissions concerns, tokenomics concerns, and it's valid, right? But, to pull off what they're looking at, they are steadfast in believing that this is the only way. I've said this before, but, we're going to look back on this in a couple of years, either way you're going to look at it. It's very, very, very ambitious plan with tokenomics and fees the way they are, etc. But this might be what it takes to finally get the recognition that we're looking for. You got to be the best. You got to be the fastest. You got to be scalable. You have to have a good product. You have to prove that it works. And then after all of that, you still need to be affordable. And from the outside, it looks like they felt they needed to be the cheapest. So obviously that's, that's a lot to ask for. And being able to build, under constraints like that, it's pretty tough when you're not, making tons of money on fees. But
Yeah.
a lot of people are worried about, COTI's runway. If you look hard enough, they are not slowing down. They do not seem to have problems funding any of their initiatives. Everything is still happening. And people have been saying this for years. So this is where we are at the end of 2025.
It is incredibly ambitious. But if you want to put a little bit of a context around, you mentioned it yourself with the tokenomics and the fee structure and how all that's tied up into a strategy. There was a post today from Sama. Yeah, proudly announcing that they have just done their first confidential transaction. All right, which by the way is like 6 months behind, at least when COTI did it, and it was at a fee of only, and I say this in inverted commas and with a clown emoji in my face, only 13 cents. Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Now let's compare. Yeah. COTI, apart from being 1,000 times faster, the transaction fee for a similar transaction on the COTI network would not be 13 cents. It would be 0.00002 cents. Now, for the average retail user, if you want to use Sama or you want to use COTI, it's not going to make any difference to you. Really, 13 cents or almost nothing is not going to make a difference to you. But if you're the European Central Bank, to use something that we're all familiar with, who would do 120 million transactions per day, all of them confidential, on-chain, off-chain, you think the European Central Bank would pay 13 cents per transaction? Yeah, not a chance, mate. Not a chance. It is utterly uncompetitive for people. When you're looking at scaled solutions with millions of transactions monthly or millions per day, you cannot charge 13 cents a transaction. Sorry, that's in my books not going to work. So I get where COTI is going with this, without a shadow of a doubt. And I think we have a lot of headwinds, but I think this is the approach. Whether it's from us or from someone else, this approach will win out. Yeah, cheaper and faster will win the game.
Yeah, fees have to be negligible, like negligible.
Yeah,
13 cents is not negligible.
No,
in this world.
No, not. Well, if you're doing 100,000 transactions per day, it's still not negligible. It's not.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of when Vitalik used to criticize Bitcoin for having 5-6 cent transactions fees. Ethereum came on the scene and he said, well, that's ridiculous. Well, look at we all know what happened with gas fees with Ethereum, right? But it's kind of like that same moment where it's like, oh, look at us, 13 cents, confidential transaction. You just want to,
and the reason why Sama have to do this is that they are exclusively financed by VC money, and VC money wants their money back with interest. Yeah, so they have a different approach to revenue. COTI also needs to generate revenue, but we can be a little bit more relaxed about it because we don't have VCs breathing down our necks. They do, and they gotta generate the revenue very quick. Yeah, they of course have the advantage that they got VCs to push their product for them, which we don't. But 13 cents per transaction, that is way over the top. Ticks no boxes.
I think we wanted to move the next one, and I'll just kind of like bring us into it. And like Soren is going to say in a minute, we just want to thank everybody for being a part of COTI Confidential. It's been a bit of a wild ride. but having you guys showing up, every week on schedule, on streams that we haven't scheduled, on surprise streams that we just jump into, you guys always show up. You're in the comments. We get the views. If you can't be with us live, you come back and rewatch. It's amazing to be a part of something that was built from nothing like this. So we appreciate every one of you, and I'm going to hand it off to Soren. And let's look at our last weekly roundup of 2025.
Yeah.
This is the one you wanted to talk about, right?
Let me start by echoing. Yeah. Let me just start by echoing what you said, because we can't do this without the community. This is a community initiative. And you and I, Tracer, we've always had it as our first mission to engage with the community, to educate the community, to help those who are coming into the community, to show people what is actually possible to do. So, we're not here to talk about price. We're not here to talk about inverse head and shoulders and cups and handles and Ikimuchu clouds and all that nonsense. Yeah, we talk about what's actually possible to do in the COTI ecosystem. And if you struggle with how to do it, you can come to us. We'll help you do it. So this is what we do, and we've had an amazing support from all of you guys, and we are deeply grateful for that. And that's why we're continuing to do this. So
I'm going to jump in. Jump in real quick. There's let's just address this really quickly. You'll see comments. Let's talk Telegram for a minute, really quickly, because everybody knows how Telegram can get. But you'll see comments where people will have been, removed from our group for one reason or another. There is an appeals process, right? Reach out to myself or Soren or any of the admins. I think you probably know who they are by now. But you know what? It's not about, they'll say, I said one negative thing and then I got booted. It's not about saying one negative thing. There's a difference between, and some people don't understand this, but there's a difference between, proper criticism, asking questions, concerns. Those are all valid things. That is why we're here. But if you're going to keep coming back and fear mongering, for lack of a better term, that's not allowed, because that's not what we're there for. Like Soren says, it's supposed to be an educational place. It's supposed to be a place to ask questions. We're not official admins, but sometimes when you need help bridging, it's just easier to go somewhere where the community can help you. That's what it's for. It's not for you to come and, complain about the mistakes, or not the mistakes, but the reasons why you're upset that things aren't where you wanted them to be, right? It's not to come there and complain about it every day. That's not what it's for. It's supposed to be a place where people new to the ecosystem can come and learn. And that I just had to say that because I'm getting sick of some of the comments that we see over and over again. And it's, it's the same people over and over again that are saying the same things. And yeah, I think I went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but I think you get the point, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, you can come into the TG group and say, listen, I think price is shit. Okay, we can all agree on that. Yeah, no need to repeat it 5 times every single day. And the price ain't gonna improve from doing that. Yeah, and the group needs to be an honest place, but it also needs to be a safe place for people who come in and join. Not get heckled with all sorts of doom mongering and or some of the other nonsense that sometimes transpire. So yeah, we try to be pretty hard on this, and if you're caught doing that, we will just boot you out, and we won't feel bad about it, not even for a second. So with all that unpleasantness out of the way, let's let's have a quick look at what's ahead of us, because this is really the interesting bit. You've all seen Shahaf's, I hope you have seen Shahaf's recent roadmap post for 2026. If that's not the case, here's a very, very short summary with some extra takes from myself added onto them. So privacy on demand goes multi-chain. Yeah. First and foremost, in people's minds, we're talking about the Axelar integration that basically facilitates access for 70 plus blockchains. True, it'd be great to finally get that integration over the line, but I want to temper people's expectations a little bit, because that's not the real price here. Yeah. So Axelar goes live on a Monday, and you don't see, I don't think you will see 100,000 extra transactions on a Tuesday, because it's on demand. It's whenever people need it, they can come and call on it. So that needs to filter through the Axelar ecosystem, and all going to take a little bit of time. But let's talk about where the real price is here. The real price is that individual blockchains on the Axelar network, or projects on any of these blockchains, they will start thinking about having privacy on demand by default once they realize the power of garbled circuits. Yeah. And I believe that's what Shahaf is very strongly hinting at in his the POD part of his update, where he says he's going to basically be live on 3 major blockchains in 2026. I think that's very much related to the Axelar integration. And that, in my opinion, is the real unlock. Leader in private DeFi. And we're obviously talking here about Privix, who are well on the way to being a top 10 perp DEX. Once they switch on privacy and take the training wheels off the agents arena, because we are still in the beta phase, we are still on training wheels, this should be easily achievable. And we will talk a lot about agents tonight, and we will give you some ideas about how powerful this is when it multiplies. I think other exchanges will start looking into this, thinking, "Ooh, we need some of that," and go back to my comments above on privacy on demand. I think these two may be connected. These are my personal theories, so take them with a grain of salt, but I think there's a connection there. Also, Shahaf teased that COTI is going to launch the first private RWA. And I'm going to be a little bit bold here. I have my own personal conspiracy theory on this. I think this is related to all the focus that we talked about in the earlier update tonight in the Middle East, North Africa region. When you look at the Middle East today, they're leading the way in integrating blockchain government into government, banking, and business in general. Yeah, there is no region in the world that's further ahead than the Middle East when it comes to integrating blockchain. And there are already several RWA projects lined up in the region. And I think you will see that the focus that COTI have had on this region in 2025, I think you're going to see that pay off in 2026 with one or more RWA announcements. It just feels like that to me, that was always the main focus for the team in that region. So bit of a bold prediction. We'll see if I'm right or I'm wrong. But that's my gut feel. Nodes V2 ecosystem launch, and I think we can all agree on that. Agree that in terms of community-facing initiative, this is a top priority, along with finally having a new and improved bridge and treasury. The community deserves a lot better on this front than what we've been given in 2025. Yeah, it's a bit like price. We can't argue that the price is shit. We also can't argue that our bridge is the bridge to nowhere. So that'll please the fodders, and so we've done a little bit for them tonight.
I'm jumping in. I'm
Yeah,
jumping in.
I can see you were itching.
Yeah. So you saw that post right before we went live from COTI talking about Nodes 2 ecosystem, hey?
Yeah.
You saw that, right? You commented on it. Now that makes me feel you have your conspiracy theories. I have mine. I wasn't expecting them to be talking about that yet. I mean, yeah, it's late. Sure, fine. But does that make you feel like new treasury is close? Because when I saw like, you know what I'm saying? I did not expect them to be pushing that. They're working hard with the blogs, talking about privacy, talking about why it's important, confidentiality, anonymity, why garbled circuits is superior. And then that popped out today, and I thought it was kind of surprising. And to me, that's foreshadowing. And so
I tell you
that
what,
excited me.
yeah. I tell you what, I don't have a warm and fuzzy feeling about the treasury being right around the corner. Now, I could be wrong. I tell you what I do think is around the corner is the node license auction, because that needs to be done first, and that needs to be all settled, and there needs to be a process around that, and it's going to take a little while. I'm absolutely 100% sure that the new treasury is well advanced. Has to be. Otherwise, there won't be any point. You're right. There wouldn't be any point talking about all this unless the treasury was coming. But I think what we're going to see first is the license auction, and then with a little bit of hope, we're going to see treasury and bridge occur after that. Because you can't do this ecosystem without the new treasury. It's not possible. So.
Yeah, and I think it was Shahab's video, which kind of surprised me, because I had been telling everybody you're going to see Treasury V2 first, then you're going to see the Nodes ecosystem roll out. And in one of Shahab's recent videos, he kind of said it the other way around. He said you're going to see stuff cooking with Nodes ecosystem, and then they're going to release Treasury. So I think maybe what he meant there is kind of what you're saying, is you're going to see the sale, and then everybody's going to line that up, and then, things are going to go live. But what do you think, man? Like trying to always find, something positive about price being in the gutter, is that maybe an advantage for Node's ecosystem and Node sale? Maybe.
Yeah, to be honest, I think it's kind of neutral. I will adhere to Shahab's own comments on this, that he does not intend for this to be a capital event for COTI. And I'm using his exact words. This is not a capital event. So nodes have got to be affordable. And it's going to allow for everyone to participate. The one thing that I think will surprise us all is how they're looking at how they're approaching the setup of the nodes. It looks to be something like everyone can do, which is sort of exciting, but also sort of okay. I'm not sure I'm totally comfortable with that. Just nodes are supposed to be this very secure thing, and taking a little bit of an expertise to run it. That's what we've been used to. So it's and I don't know enough about nodes to know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. It took me a little bit by surprise when they said that basically everyone's going to be able to build their own node.
It's interesting, even with V1, it was always very accessible to run a node with the tools, community built tools, right? The only thing that got a little tricky sometimes is when you had to troubleshoot things. So it's always been easy to run a node. And with what they're saying now, if it's going to be easier, then I really do believe anybody can run a node. Mark's got a comment here, and I guess there is a little bit of a something that people don't understand is anybody now, like today, can run a mainnet node. the only people that were eligible for Node Runners rewards were the legacy team from the V1, right? So you could come in, you could set up your mainnet node, and then you can get whitelisted by the team and run one. You won't get rewards at this point. Would it be possible to operate the node with rewards directly after purchasing the license? What do you think? What do I think? I have no idea. I was kind of surprised that the node sale was going to come before the new treasury. So I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so. I have nothing to base that on. What do you think, Soren?
No, I think, and I think that's why we are having the license sale first, so that they can get a feel for how many nodes are actually going to be there, how many are going to actually operate as nodes, how many are going to delegate to node operators, and get a feel for what that whole thing looks like. So I think you may, let's give you an example, you may be able to purchase your node license or licensees in, say, in January. And then, you will be able to set up and run mainnet nodes and be ready for, say, March, April, or something like that. That's sort of my own personal thinking about it. And I'm like you, I have nothing to base it on. We have not been told much about this, if anything at all. So we know as much as the community about what's awaiting us on this.
Yeah, and not to totally sidetrack, your update here, or your recap, or whatever we want to call it, but Node's ecosystem is a big deal, right? It's always been, going back to V1, it's always been a big deal. It's so I think it's worth talking about. I did not expect to see that post today, and it makes me kind of feel like they're cooking something for early Q1. And I think I think everybody would enjoy that right now. Something to look forward to. But I'll let you get back to it. But I just thought that was interesting, and I wanted to talk about it for a minute.
Yeah, and a good comment from Torsten here. We need a better mood, and I know he's referring to the TG groups, yeah, where people come in and make a comment, and they get hammered from all angles. If they're being too bullish or so. Behave yourselves, guys.
I'll be honest. The Telegram group, or even just in general, Telegram isn't for everybody. And depending on how you're using it, might not be a valuable tool for you. This is another reason why we wanted to do a weekly stream. It's to aggregate all the key points that you see and I see, and things that people like us who have been involved in the ecosystem since 2019 find exciting or interesting, right? So instead of, you don't have to go into Telegram and read, thousands of messages a week to know everything. We try to cover everything that's pertinent here. So, it's a good place to ask a question. It's not a great place to be if it's not making you feel good, because it can get toxic, right? So
it's pretty rough and tumble at times in TG. I'm personally, I'm not enjoying it anywhere near as much as I used to. Just got to get that out there. I'm enjoying these podcasts much more because we can talk about the things, like you say, the things that matter. Yeah. And it's in a condensed 1 hour-ish format. And then afterwards we chop it up into relevant bits, and people can go back and refer to them over and over again. It's much faster actually than going through all the crying and whining in Telegram, as Eli just. There's too much crying and whining in there.
COTI Confidential streams can be a little bit redundant, but nothing like Telegram, right?
No.
So it's a better way to optimize your time.
Absolutely. Right. So let's get back to the update. The other things that Shahab was talking about is lead with performance. And my personal thoughts on this is that with privacy being a key focus area for Web3, you're going to see millions and millions of research dollars thrown at it. So it's absolutely imperative. And I'm not saying this as a call to arms. I think Soda Labs are already well and truly on the game here. They have been on top of this from day one. But of course, they need to be given all the tools that they need to keep developing GC EVM. Performance is, like I said before, performance means everything. You need to keep it cheap, you need to keep it fast, you need to keep it light. It needs to tick those boxes. Whatever people are telling you on your Twitter feed about all the fantastic ways of doing privacy, you can't have transactions that take 21 minutes. Yeah, and I will again quote Shahaf directly. When a transaction takes 21 minutes, it's not a transaction. It's a research project. Yeah. It's got to take 21 milliseconds at the very worst. So that's definitely also a big item on next year's agenda. Grassroots was not mentioned, but I take the liberty of mentioning it because Yarrow Labs have been doing some amazing work in 2025. And keep in mind, these guys are only just starting out. They're refining their curriculum. They're looking at what sort of formats work well, not just in the Southeast Asia region, but also worldwide. And I firmly believe we've already seen some great outcomes from the work they're doing at Yarrow Labs. And I would love to see a lot more use cases coming out. I want to see a lot more, like the guy who basically found out that he could replace his Google Cloud with garbage circuits and get privacy for a fraction of the price. Same speed, same effectiveness, same usability, but he gets privacy and he gets for a fraction of the price. I want to see more of this because that's exactly the sort of things that people are going to discover in the sort of framework that Yarrow Labs allow you to have. Yeah. So and I cannot stress enough how important this is for the long-term health of our ecosystem. It's not all about the big logos. It's about all these small projects, and some of them will turn big, believe me. So yeah, my final thoughts on 2026. I think all these targets are more than achievable. In fact, I think they're likely. COTI is already miles ahead simply by being live and having actual use cases. Refer back to today's summer post. Yeah, they are still months and months away from mainnet. Sure, we're facing headwinds. Market sentiments in the toilet, token prices in the toilet. Powerful forces are pushing rival but inferior technologies, and I'm referring to CK being pushed like mad by the likes of Vitalik and CH and people like that. Sooner or later, though, and this has always been the case, if you can survive all that, sooner or later, performance will win. We're faster, we're lighter, we're cheaper than anyone else, and that will start to matter at some point. Yeah, I know we're chipping away at the dam, and it'll break at some point. I think that some point will be in 2026. So yeah, forget about the last part. You obviously did not want to put on a silly hat tonight, so we're just wearing our normal hats. But yeah, that's my outlook. I'm incredibly positive about 2026. I think it's going to shock everyone. I think it's going to shock us. I think it's going to shock the establishment because I think the team's got it all lined up as far as I know, or as far as I can feel.
He really is the highest drama level. That was an interesting blurb you put in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, here. Stefanos is a boy's name in Greece with the absolute #1 drama level. Yeah, Alexandros is also high drama, but sort of trending more towards the middle drama range. But Stefanos is like off the charts drama.
Villain looking for forgiveness. I'm not going to touch that one.
No fucking chance.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for coming back, Daniel. What can I do as a small investor? How can I help to make this project more visible? Thank you. I know that you are doing a great job, but I want to help. So I'll say something quickly and then I'll hand it over to Soren. But I've always said that we need people clipping. We need short form video content. I think that's the one thing that we've been missing the most is just, finding anecdotes that you find interesting and throwing them up in short form online. That's my opinion. What do you think, Soren?
Yeah, and I think 3 maybe 4 months ago I touched a little bit on this. I think actually the community as a whole is doing an amazing job of promoting COTI. I see so many reposts. I see so many COTI community members engaging with rival projects to push ours. And when influencers put out these thirst traps, what's the token I should be looking at? I always see at least 15 or 20 COTI community members posting. So there's already a lot going on, and that's what we're all doing. So it's one of these compounding things that the more we do this, the better it is. So that's sort of my thoughts on it. Now,
thirst
let's
traps.
talk about our favorite subject, mate. Because this
hold on.
has been insane.
Hold on. Let's take this one, because this is something I want to talk about really quickly. From Eli, price action is a gift right now if you have cash. Doesn't feel like it, but it will. Okay, so good point. Yes. What can you do if you don't have cash? Well, this is where things like COTI Earn come in handy. This is where, maybe you have a couple hundred USDC that you'd like to farm on Carbon DeFi or Privex, or you want to look at the ratio on GCOTI, for instance. I think it touched 12 or 13 to 1, a range order, recurring range order, or just a limit order on Carbon DeFi. Or you just want to park some of your stables safely without touching them into Privex and earn a yield on that with COTI. So not everybody has cash, right? Especially if you've been crypto for a long time, maybe all your cash is gone. So there are a bunch of ways to farm rewards in our ecosystem right now. And maybe you have some other ideas there too, Soren.
No, I was going to say exactly that. And this is why we've talked a little bit about all these opportunities that do exist in the ecosystem. You touched upon 2, Carbon DeFi, where you can buy low, sell high, and you can specifically set up a strategy to do exactly that. And I know you've been successfully doing that with GCOTI, Tracer, and that can be copied. I want to add, if you got $20 or $50 and a bit of spare time, and we're going to talk about this now, set up a trading agent. Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about how, again, I know we've done it before. We'll talk a little bit about how to set this up, because there is one specific point that's very, very important that we make. And we're going to talk about how these agents are performing, because it has been an absolutely wickedly wild holiday season for Tracer and me, because we're balls deep into these trading agents now.
And there are, I always bring up Carbon DeFi because I've engaged a lot with the team and they are awesome. Privex too. I'm not, this isn't favoritism. Veildex has got some stuff going on. They just released a white paper. I need to do my own personal research on it. Accumulated Finance. There's a bunch of other tools that we don't talk about too much on here that I think Soren and I just have to spend some time on. But it's a good sign that we have so many tools that we can't kind of cover them all at the same time, right? So there's lots of stuff to play with out there. Maybe you know a little bit about it. You should come on the show next year and talk about it.
Yeah, and to some of these projects, if they are listening to us, Tracer, reach out to us and say, listen, we want to get a mention on your show. Tell us when we can come on and spend half an hour with you talking about our projects. So if Veildex, if you're listening, reach out to us. we'll do a segment with you similar to what we did with Moshe from Privix a few weeks back. We really enjoy doing these, and we really enjoy learning about our own ecosystem because, like Tracer says, there's so much going on. We can't follow everything, and we tend to talk about the things we use ourselves every day, and maybe we're missing stuff that we should not be missing. Maybe we're missing opportunities on Valdex that really we should be in there farming, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, and it's a good point. I think you are going to see more partners coming on COTI Confidential. I know that I said this last year and it didn't really happen, but I plan on sitting down with more projects just myself. So, it's not favoritism. It's people who have, afforded us the time, came on the show, engaged with us. You're going to get, talked about more because you've been here, right? Anything
do you
else,
think
sir?
we can get Christine Lagarde from the European Central Bank to join us for a segment?
Oh yeah, no problem. I don't know if anybody would listen, but
she'd be totally up for that, wouldn't she?
I'm sure she loves these kinds of shows. All right, where did you want to go next? You want us to go Privix next, okay?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about these trading agents because it's caught a bit of a fire in the community as well. After we had the segment with Moshe, I think around about 100 new community-run agents have been set up. But first, I want to make one comment about these community agents. They are really easy to set up. They don't cost anything to set up. You got to eventually, once you're happy with your setup, you got to seed them with a little bit 5-10 COTI and as little as 20 or 30 USDC. Or one.
One COTI goes a long way.
Yeah. So you got to seed it a little bit, and I've seen this happen a few times now, so I want to make a quick comment about this. The place where you got to really put in an effort is in your trading prompt. You have to absolutely make sure your trading prompt works and does what you want it to. And if you can see right out of the gate that it's losing money hand over fist, take your trading prompt, take your trading log, plug them both into an AI, ChatGPT or Grok or something like that, and say, here's my trading agent, here's my trading log. Can you please have a look and come up with some improvements? Because my agent's not making money. Yeah, it's not like your agent's going to make money from the first day, but give it 2 or 3 days and then make sure you keep going back and refining your prompt 3, 4, 5, 6 times as much as necessary until you can start to see a trend where your agent is actually having a decent win ratio. And I think a decent win ratio probably should be anywhere from 40% up. It's obviously a subjective number, but that's personally where I'm looking at. So I just wanted to make that comment, Tracer.
Yeah. Let's just quickly here. Give me 1 second. I want to go back into something here. Let me just give me 10 seconds to get this ready. All right. So yeah, when you're talking about prompting, you were talking about funding the agent and stuff. Let's not forget that, because that question comes out a lot. But what's interesting is before you even fund your agent, and I'm not sure about this. Like, I know I would say throw like 1 COTI at it. I'm not sure if it starts reasoning if you don't fund that little bit of gas, but you can throw 1 COTI at it, and we'll show you how to do that in a minute. And then even before you fund it with USDC, you can watch it reason in your manage section. Well, not even in the overview section, and you can just look at how your prompt is affecting your agent's rationalization. And it's really, really interesting to watch. And I've noticed that, some people are just, not funding their agents and just watching them, and maybe, they're missing, the COTI side of it and just funding it with USDC. But it is very, very easy or interesting to watch the agent reason before it even, before it even trades. And it's kind of like your way of validating, is it following your strategy properly? This is the first version. The agents, like, I don't want to say they have a mind of their own, but they're pretty, they have a bit of a mind of their own, right, Soren? Like a little bit. Sometimes, I don't want to, I haven't seen an agent full on hallucinate yet. Like none of, I've done maybe 10 of them. None of them have gone like totally wild or anything, but, you will see people saying, well, it doesn't really follow my stop loss exactly. It doesn't really follow this exactly. So you do have to, lay in your prompt and either watch the reasoning and maybe reiterate from there, or let it trade with dust a little bit. And then, reiterate again. But, it's just something to think about, is even if you don't want to lose, or risk any money on it, you can just watch the reasoning, because even that is interesting.
No, exactly. And if you're as interested in this as Tracer and I are, I think it's worth mentioning that this is only the first stage of the agents arena. There's a lot more coming. There's copy trading coming, where if you have a successful agent and people think that it's a successful agent, they can park money and you will earn a share of their profits as well. So this could actually be a nice little profitable side business to your staking or whatever it is you're doing with your COTI and within the COTI ecosystem. This is a very nice way to earn a little bit of extra money. But in the beginning, you got to stick a little bit to the task in the beginning and make sure you refine your prompt. And there's two ways to do these prompts. And the one we want to talk a little bit about today, I think, is Tracer's agent, because I know nothing about trading. I wouldn't know it from a hole in the head. So I used AI and vibe coded my trading prompt, and I've adjusted it 4 or 5 times now, and I'm pretty happy with where it's going. But Tracer actually coded his, manually coded his like a proper nerd from day one, and put a hell of a lot of effort into this. And he's also having quite good results. Well, actually, we're having sort of similar-ish results, not at the same time, but we're sort of having similar experiences. Yeah.
I gotta point this out though. I noticed this yesterday. You see, you have a bit of a Batman pattern going here.
Yeah.
Do you see it?
I see it.
I thought that was kind of funny. Or cat ears.
I tell you what. Let me tell you a funny story about how these agents. This is why they're so much fun. Yeah. So you see, I had 4 days in the red. So my agent was basically it was sitting at about 20% profit, and then it had 4 days where it was in the dumps completely, and sort of before that huge red candle, I increased my bankroll from $100 to $200, and the agent took a whole bunch of lousy trades, and of course now that I had doubled my bankroll, it doubled the losses. So I went from 20% up to 2% down. And as a human being, I'm starting to think, oh, do I need to go back and look at my trading prompt again? Because it was doing very well, and red days, green days, but ultimately it was making money, so all was fine. But now I'm not so sure. And why did this happen? Did it happen because I put $100 in extra? Or what? Am I being rocked here, or what? And all these things came up in my mind. And anyways, I went to bed last night. I woke up this morning, and the agent had made 40% overnight trading a token that I'd never ever heard of, called Power. Made an absolute mint on this thing overnight while I was fast asleep, dreaming about a whole bunch of other things, I'm assuming. And this is the beauty. This is the beauty of the agents. The agents doesn't give a shit that it had a red candle. It doesn't. It really doesn't care, and it doesn't care about only the tokens that are sort of popular in people's minds. It found this token and saw a setup, and caught a little 4 hour. If you were to go and look at the charts, which I did, it caught a little 4 hour spike in token price. That, you know, I don't know the tokens. I have no idea where it all came from. So, you know, making $5, $6, $7 per trade, absolutely insane, absolutely insane. So you know, this is the sort of thing that we're experiencing with these agents, and this is a very important point to make. These agents they keep on trading, they don't stop, and they keep finding new edges, new ways to make their trades. And they keep looking for setups in the market in places we would never dream of looking. So yeah, that was sort of a little funny story about that. And you've had a similar story, Tracer, because you also increased the bankroll on your agent.
I woke up to a text from Soren saying, "It's a good thing you weren't awake 3 hours ago," he says.
Well,
and I was wondering, why is that?
You went from $100 to $500 on your agent, yeah, and you were confident, so you upped it to $1,000, right?
Yeah, slowly, just been kind of, you know.
And I was up while you were asleep. This was afternoon my time, and you had this monster red candle, yeah, like much bigger than the one I had. It was huge. And your agent was getting absolutely annihilated. But by the time you woke up 2 hours later, you were almost back in the green. And that, again, it shows you, you know, don't panic over these things, but, you know, keep an eye on what's the trend. If you're not happy with it, go and adjust it. Keep adjusting your prompt with on a regular basis when you see something you don't like. We had problems with the agents taking shorts and longs on the same token.
Yes.
At almost the same price. Absolute nonsense. And my agent is still doing it, by the way.
Well,
even though I put new prompts in to say, don't bloody do it.
It's, you know what, but it like, really quickly though, that isn't nonsense, right? Like, that's hedging, right? And so the agent is trying to hedge, waiting for one to go a certain way and then cut the other, right? So it's like, I know at first it's like, it seems like it's nonsense. Whereas it's learning from, well, it's learning from online resources to do that, right? So just what's the exit strategy? Well, maybe it doesn't have that right yet. You know, if it just goes long and short and closes them both at the same time, well, that's not good, right?
Which is exactly what it does, which is where the nonsense part comes in, because it doesn't do anything. Yeah, it just adds another couple of trades and we pay more fees. Yeah, we don't make any money from this. So anyway, we're having all these little issues that you learn along the way. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not surprising. It's not surprising that they learned that right? There are back end resources that the agents, there's a knowledge base, right? Privex has a knowledge base that all the agents can tie into. So, you know, you can teach your own agent to learn, you know, how to trade RSI or whatever. Like we could go into the different indicators. I think they have over 100. But you can teach it that, but it'll also pull resources from the knowledge base, right? And, you know, the other cool thing about agents is you can point it to PDFs and books and all that kind of stuff. And like, I've tried a bunch of different things. Like I said, I have about 10 agents, and I will say with this first version of agents, and I don't know for sure, but like Moshe came into the Telegram and he kind of said that you know, he kind of agreed with me, but you know, it seems like you want to start with something simple, maybe 3 indicators. Try to get it to do one thing really well. I've never tried to I didn't at first just try to make an agent that longs or shorts. But what I noticed is after your first prompt, most often the agent will get really, really good at, the agent will focus on either longs or shorts. And you'll see, you know, your numbers will be totally skewed. This agent always wants to go long and never or almost never shorts, you know, maybe down into the 1% or less. Then you kind of, play with the prompt and you try to get the agent doing both. What I've noticed though is sometimes it's hard to do that. And then when it starts doing it, it seems to usually do one really well and one not so well. And then you could still kind of end up flat. It took me a long time to get my agent to start, taking trades on both sides and making profit on both sides.
Yeah, and the important part here for everyone who's listening to all this, because we're pumping out quite a lot of information in a very short span of time. The important part here is you take you copy paste your trading prompt, you attach your trading log. You can take your trading log and save it as a file on your desktop. You take those two and feed it into the AI, and then on top of that, you articulate what it is you want the AI to look for. So I'm not happy with the fact that my trades are skewed towards longs, not shorts. Can you please come up with recommendations? And the AI will analyze. Every time you want to adjust your prompt, you do this, and the AI will analyze both and come up with suggestions. It may also find things that you didn't even know were a problem. And so it will analyze and come up with different recommendations, and you can then copy paste them as additional instructions on your trading prompt. And that's you keep doing that. Your prompt gets longer and longer and longer, but it somehow mostly seems to work. Yeah, like this hedging nonsense, we still haven't gotten past that, even though we tried. And I think there was another one where I put a mild reminder into the agent. It ignored me. Then I put a really strict reminder into the agent, and it just went on strike. It stopped trading. So yeah, there's all sorts of things you can keep adjusting this until you're happy with it. It's not you go and vibe code a trading prompt, pop it in, and you make money from here to eternity. It's not that easy, but it's such good fun to play with, and because you can use AI to do these things, it's really for everyone to do it. I want to just, are you on your agent, yeah?
Yeah, you want to go back to yours?
No, I want to stick in yours because we talk a lot about Privex being the killer app for COTI, yeah?
Oh yeah,
if you
volume,
can go down
right?
to your stats. This is starting out with $100, then you added 400 more and 500 more, right? Is that correct? Something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, basically I had two deposit that eventually were worth 100, and then I went 400, 500. Yes, that's correct. Or
yeah. So
yeah,
you have
like
got, Tracer, you've got $1,000 sitting on your agent, which is not a small amount of money, but it's not an absurdly big amount of money either. Yeah. And you have generated in 15, 16 days.
Yeah.
$3.25 million of trading volume. Yeah. Now that's one agent with $1,000. When the money starts coming into these agents, you are going to see numbers that are off the charts. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to see absolute, and this is why we keep talking. I keep saying, and I know you do as well, that and this is just a small part of what Privex does, that the agents, but it'll probably be their most, in terms of generating trading volume, it'll be their biggest thing. Yeah, this once it's once you get more agents and more money starts to come in, you're going to see billions of dollars on a daily basis. Yeah. But this is shocking how much this agent generates in trading volume.
Yeah. So, it's a testament to how low COTI's fees are on the gas side. It's also a testament to, like, it took me a while, especially like a little while ago. I was having trouble for a while taking too many trades. I mean, it's still taking too many trades for, how much money it's making, but that's because I'm constantly reiterating, right? There's agents V2 are coming out sometime, maybe a third, maybe a fourth version. So I knew this was never going to be my last agent, but right now generating agents are free. So it's important for Soren and I to learn as much as we can at this point, right? So yeah, it's one of the things that Moshe said in the Telegram is that agents will be more patient. I'll be honest. 99% of the time when I look and check my agent, it's in 1 or 2 trades. So it is constantly trading. And at first I was like, well, that's not great, but there's that thing that Moshe talked about last time when we met with him, is that you're farming points, right? You're farming with COTI Earn and you're farming with PrivaX. And that kind of was like, oh yeah. So, even though right now, and this is like a bad moment too, of course, but even though my P&L is very low right now, there's that volume aspect where it's like, you're not seeing the PrivaX points that are being generated here. You're not seeing, the TPS from COTI Earn coming here. So even though the P&L is relatively low, with a volume like this, I will be farming PrivaX points at rate faster than I ever could, trading by myself with we'll say $1,000, right?
Yeah, okay, you could probably earn more PrivaX points trading manually, but you would lose that $1,000 because well, most likely you would lose that $1,000 the next time the market did something stupid. That's not happening here. Every single time we've seen the agents get into trouble, they course correct. Yeah, all our worries so far have been for nothing. Yeah, you were worried about yours, and it happened.
Oh, I was frustrated, man.
It was exactly when you started putting more money into it, and you had to sort of deal with it. It took exactly the same trades. It's just that the stakes on each trade were higher now. Yeah, and I remember you being frustrated because there were trades where you were making 50-cent profit. But your platform fee was I don't know, $1.20 or whatever,
or something.
Yeah, something like that. So you were getting frustrated by that. That's much less.
And my agent isn't supposed to do that, right? My agent wasn't like, sometimes it'll trigger a stop loss and then okay, but it's not supposed to do that. So sometimes you have to reiterate and really emphasize your strategy, right? Not to cut you off.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's good you do because these are some of the issues that I'm sure other people are having as well. So yeah, no, and every day they course correct every time. I can't get over the fact that I went to sleep last night thinking I'm gonna have to build a new agent, and I woke up this morning and this thing had found this stupid token in the middle of nowhere and traded it all night. Yeah. Making an absolute killing. Amazing. I could never do that. I mean, there's just no way.
And so it's kind of unfortunate where some of my candles have closed, because like this agent, when it was funded with less money, it was at over 100% at one point. I've had trades that were, it closed trades for like $100, but then, it slowly gives it back. And so it's just, we're still reiterating, we're still learning. PrivaX is still evolving. But there is something to be said about being here now, generating your agents for free, watching them reason without, any kind of risk. And then getting in, like, I think it says somewhere in the docs that you want your agent to have at least $20. I can confirm that that's like actually valid. When you get lower than $10, the agent kind of handicaps itself, doesn't really want to take trades. But $20 isn't a lot of money to be on the bleeding edge of some of the biggest, or most interesting trading opportunities of this century, in my opinion. So small price to pay to learn what you get to learn and be a part of something like this.
Yeah.
And you're farming points, right?
Exactly. And if you do get this right, you do have this, if you get it right and you take the view that listen, I'm just going to let the agent get on with it. If it goes well, it goes well. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The agent doesn't care about any of that. It'll keep doing, and it'll keep generally doing well once you've nailed that prompt part. it may only make, 4 or 5% per month, but once you start compounding that into a couple of years worth, and when you then add the feature that's coming where people can park money on your agent, bet on your agent, essentially, then it gets very interesting. So yeah, no, I'm super hyped about this. I think it's absolutely an amazing thing that we got here, and it is, like you say, it's the bleeding edge of trading, because this is the way hedge funds are already doing it with their trading algos. So why shouldn't we be having ourselves the same tools? Sorry.
Yep. Go play with agents. You can do it for free without risking any money, without even funding them. Oh, let's talk about funding our agents. Really, really quickly. This is important.
Yeah, this is an important little bit when you're funding your agents, because a lot of people put the money in their Privex account, in their futures account, and that's not the place to put it.
So the best way to fund your agent is create it, go through all the prompts. If you do make a mistake while you're generating it, just go back, because even though you didn't sign and generate it, the agent's still there waiting to be deployed. I learned that already, and I was happy because I put a lot of time into it, and then I didn't have to redo everything. The best way to fund your agent is directly through MetaMask by using your agent's wallet address here, instead of using the deposit features. So I like to put some gas in there first, 2 COTI if you're just going to play with it, and then whatever you want for USDC. You need your USDC to be on COTI's network, and you need to bridge that. I use Hyperlane to bridge mine right into my, we'll call it the spot wallet for Privex. And then from there, directly from MetaMask to your agent. And it takes seconds for it to populate in the agent's wallet. And from there, if you're prompted and everything's ready to go, your agent will start taking trades. As what was that? Was that on your end?
They've already
fireworks
off New Year's early. Yeah.
What time is midnight for you?
2 hours from now.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it because it's 11:51 here. I was wondering if it was 9 minutes out.
They like to get a head start here. I think that's like that in most places.
And you'll see some people on the platform, they'll have wallets funded with USDC, but they don't have gas in there yet. That's probably why their agent isn't taking trades. So yeah, you need to fund both sides.
And it's exactly the same route from your MetaMask straight to your agent wallet with the COTI as well. Yeah. Don't put 2, 3, 4, 500 COTI. First of all, you're never going to need them. And second of all, as of this moment in time, there's no withdrawal of that COTI. So I know that that's probably going to work in later iterations, but you can't take it back out again. So just put 10, 15 COTI. Leo, just put 10, 15 COTI. It's enough for tens of thousands of trades. Don't worry about it. Yeah. You'll be fine.
Yeah, on the smaller agents, like when I'm funding with $20, I've put 1 or 2 COTI, and it keeps me going, But yeah, small funds, let it trade, work the prompt, right? Work the prompt, forward your prompt. Like Moshe always says, use Gemini. I wasn't using Gemini at first. I've tried a few LLMs. I do see why he's saying Gemini. I don't want to say it ends up with better prompts, but it does. It really kind of understands what you're trying to do. It's easy to pin your conversations, label them for your different agents if you're doing a bunch of them. Gemini does seem to work very well. Yeah, I don't know. It's really fun to play with. And you've kind of caught Soren and I both at like a little bit of a downside in terms of profits, but maybe if I hadn't reiterated so many times, maybe it'd be better, maybe it'd be worse. But I was trying to learn how to tune it. Like it was a struggle for me to I think I maybe said all this before, but to get it shorting and longing, and then getting it to not hedge, and then getting it to short and long and profit. And I've noticed that I've looked at many agents. There are very few agents that are in profit on longs and shorts. So this is why I've put, all my time, not all my time, but most of my time into this one agent that we showed today.
Keep in mind that when you look at the profitability of your agent, it'll come. You keep refining this, it'll come. But keep in mind, these market conditions, since we've been doing this for the last 2 weeks, 16 days, it's been insanely difficult. It's just chop, little bit forward, little bit back, little bit forward, little bit back. There's zero volatility. It's just pure filth in the market. Yeah, it's chop, and very clear that the agents are struggling a little bit. They're going short when they should be long. They're sometimes going long when they should be short. And we haven't seen any volatility yet. Yeah, and that'll be really interesting to see how the agent does with that. But it's been doing exceptionally well, I think, for both you and me, Tracer, in what is a very choppy market that's very difficult to predict because it's looking for setups, and the market's not rewarding that right now.
Yeah, and you definitely have to stick with it because at one point, my agent was really, really good at the chop on one side of the trade, and it was consistently profitable. But it was when I was funded with $100, and it was doing it really, really well. But that wasn't enough for me. I wanted it to be able to long and short and be in profit in both sides. So, one thing I tried to do at that point was, okay, well, let's recreate this agent using the same prompt, let it trade, and then the secondary prompt to try to bring that agent back to life. And I've noticed that with V1, and Fonzo doesn't agree with me at this, but like I've tried to do it a few times, and I tried to be pretty systemic about it. I was not able to recreate that first and second agent that way. So repeatability maybe seems like a little bit of challenge with V1, but I mean, it's also taking trades, like different trades, and then getting that secondary prompt. But even from the first prompt, it didn't seem to be behaviorally the same way. So my point is that if you get an agent that you really like something about, you could either consider making a second agent to trade the other side, and not lose that, those habits that it's already formed if it's doing something profitable. Again, this is just what I've seen, but I've put a lot of time into this one, and even though I'd like to see a higher APR, it's now doing the things that I've asked it to do. It's still ignoring some of my not stop losses. It's never gone too far that way, but I'm trying to tune basically to make sure that it doesn't take a trade unless it knows it can make the fees now. Which, I think I've kind of worked out. So it's just, it's funny. You work on one thing and then you look to the next, but don't expect to be able to clone your agents. And if you have, let me know, because I've been trying to do it, even prompting with code. And so far I haven't been successful.
No, I told mine from day one, don't risk more than 5% of the bankroll on each trade.
Oh yeah.
And it's completely
never listens to that.
It's completely ignored me. Yeah. Even more than my wife normally ignores me. This ignored me tons more. It happily goes in with 30% of the bankroll. But having said that, it then has it doesn't lose or win 10% in a trade. I've never seen that happen yet. Yeah, the worst or best, depending on what side it is sort of a really good trade is in the 5, 6, 7% range, and equally a very bad trade is probably in the 5, 6% range. Yeah, so it may take a larger percent of the bankroll, but it doesn't let the winners run, and it's fairly prompt in cutting the losses when it sees it's on the wrong side. Yeah. So it's not blowing up the account or anything like that. And we've had agents that where we gave them the prompts and literally we've blown up the accounts. You and I both
Oh
had
yeah.
a couple of those.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. One thing that I spent some time on when I was training and prompting was that capital preservation was paramount. And so until I funded with $1,000, my agent had never gone negative. And I think you said you saw it go negative there during that one candle, right?
Yeah.
It's never, that's the only time it's ever been negative. So to me, that's impressive. I don't know what you think about that, but before that, it had never gone negative. It had always been in profit. So it knows something there, right? So then I started thinking, well, will we have agents at one point that, because obviously you want them to compound and be trading with more and more and more, but you know what I'm saying? Do you skim profits out of it? And if I had skimmed profits out of it, would I be negative now? You know what I mean? So there's so many things to play with here. And being on the cutting edge of something like this is so much fun.
It seems that whenever you 5x and 10x your bankroll, that's when it went negative for a little while. And it was exactly the same with me when I doubled mine from $100 to $200. Boom, negative. Now back in the positive.
And it makes sense, right? Because the trades are just so much bigger.
Yeah, because the trades are exactly the same. They're just twice the size. So it's twice the win or twice the loss. So if it's on a bad streak, which it will have, the market will especially this choppy market, it'll have bad streaks and good streaks. So if you top it up at the wrong time, obviously that compounds very quickly, and it goes negative for a little while. But no, mine has been generally positive the whole way through. It had that little dip in the last few days, but that's hopefully mostly out of the way now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, literally, there's 100 things that we could talk about with these agents. There's so many things to learn. But I really, I loved seeing how many community agents have been set up. And I want to say this one more time. They are free to set up now. They will not be free. They won't even be remotely free in a little while from now. I think, I can't remember. Do we have a price for how much they're going to cost to set up after?
To generate? I don't think he said that, no.
I don't think he said, but they won't be free. So go and set up, even if you're not going to do much with them now, go set up 2 or 3 or 4 agents now. And then, once, if you want to wait for more features to roll out, you will have the agents ready, and you will have them while they're free. Yeah. No point in paying for something when you can get it for free. Sorry. That's just common sense in my world.
So that's 2025, I guess.
That's 2025, mate. It's time for champagne and fireworks. You're still a few hours away. It's morning your time. No, it's about lunch now. Your time, yeah.
I got 12 hours left.
All right. Yeah, no, I'll be I'll be asleep like a baby by that time, mate. But no, I do want to thank you, Tracer, for being my partner in crime, my wingman, teaching me the ropes of podcasting very much this year. It's been a baptism that I've really enjoyed. It's in many ways one of the highlights of my week is when you and I sit down and chew fat on everything that's gone on in the COTI system. So I want to thank you really for hand-holding me through all this. It's been brilliant, mate. Really appreciate you.
I've told you before, man, I couldn't do it without you. Your weekly updates kind of set up every show. Everything flows from there. It has been really fun. It's the second year in, first full year, I guess.
Yeah.
And sometimes like maybe I'm not feeling like doing it today. Once it gets going, it's always fun. And I think I learn more from doing these shows with you than I do on my own, because I go back and I clip them and I re-listen to them and I listen to Eli and Moshe and everybody else who's been on the show, and it's just it's so much fun. And I do believe that, you know, next year I think COTI Confidential is going to start to look a little bit different. It's going to have, you know, more meaningful guests. I really do believe that, and so I'm excited to keep it going. And what is it, 44 shows this year?
I think this is
bad,
number 44.
Yeah.
I think I think we've had an amazing cadence with everything else that's going on in our lives as well as everyone else's lives. I think we've had a good cadence on this, and definitely I'm super happy to contribute my little part to this. So we're going to keep on rolling into 2026. And like you said, it's going to be 10 times more interesting in 2026.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot more stuff going on in the ecosystem. You thought 25 was wild. 26 is going to be a lot wilder. And hopefully we will start to see a little bit more love in the markets.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come. I don't do price predictions. I don't give a shit about that stuff. I am going to predict one thing, though. Yeah, so I'm going to make one bombshell prediction here. You didn't know about this, Tracer. It's going to come as a shock to you as well. But when we sit here on the last day of 2026, COTI's market cap will be higher than midnight. And you heard it here. You heard it here first. And I'll say there's two reasons for that. Yeah, I'll give you the reason why. Because Midnight's not going to be launched. Even this time next year, Midnight is still not launched with the full set of features. Yeah, they have a roadmap with 4 different updates, and knowing CH and knowing Cardano and how that operates, that's going to take at least a couple of years. Yeah, they've minted 14 billion tokens that they basically don't need. Yeah, and this is not fun. They had the whole Babel fees talk for 2 or 3 years. You can settle in any token you want, blah blah blah. And so that's on one side. On the other side, COTI, we're live, we're ready, we got use cases. Shahab's got it all up his sleeve, and he's gonna smash this thing in 2026, and we are gonna get some love from the market, because I guarantee you there'll be a couple of nice logos between the things that we're doing in 26. So they're gonna come down to earth a little bit, and we're going to take a little bit of a flight back to where we need to be. And that's why I think we're going to have a bigger market cap than Midnight. Yeah, even though they got a token advantage of 6-1, I still think we're going to beat them.
Yeah. You know, price is one thing, and lately it's never been fun to talk about. I don't think anybody who's been bullish on the system, you know, would have thought that we would be here at the end of 2025. For anybody that can take advantage of price right now, it's going to be interesting to see how that serves them moving forward, especially if your market cap prediction comes true. I agree with what you said. Shahaf is all over it. We never forget Joshua in these talks. Any team member, when I speak to them about Joshua, they can't say enough about him. He is a busy guy. He is working. I've heard that he's working more than 16-hour days. He is on that grind. And you don't just think that he's only working on Yaru. He is on everything.
Let's not forget Cody Ship here, because he spent a bit of the year learning the ropes. But he is really pulling his weight. He's pulling his weight now. I can guarantee you and I, we know what he's been up to, some of what he's been up to in the background. And it's not small either, by the way.
Yeah, like I was saying, I was fortunate enough to have a meeting with Amateo last week. Super cool guy. Mila had some really good comments. she said that he's going to come and it's going to be louder, it's going to be different. So I said that to him when we met, and very modestly, I think, agreed, right? It's going to be different. He has, it's new eyes, fresh outlook. And, Efrat is, a dear friend. So, in the beginning, I'm very apprehensive to, be going through this with a new person all over again. But he gives a really, really good vibe. And he's going to come on one of the first shows of 2026 with us and introduce himself to the community. Yes, I'm really looking forward to that. And it's undeniable, like you said, Soren, about COTI Ship, as what I've noticed is as the months roll on, you see COTI Ship being involved in more shows, more podcasts. Whenever we do, the COTI Connects, Ship's always there. Ship's story is pretty amazing, how he came from community member to being, at the forefront of partnerships and business development. So that's been really, really fun to watch. I know he wants to get more involved on the community side, but those guys are stretched so thin with all the stuff they're handling right now that it's been tough for him. But you will see a new show early in the year where we'll be talking to all those people, and it's going to be really, really fun. Price is price. It can really get you down in the dumps. I get it, guys. Try to use it to your advantage if you can. I don't know what else to say. When you see all the things that Soren talks about every week, kind of aggregates the bigger picture. They are cooking it. They don't seem to have any signs of slowing down. They're bringing in new people, new partnerships every day. So 2026 is going to be another interesting year, and it'll be interesting to see what it'll be like on New Year's Eve in 2026.
Yeah, no, I told you already what it would be like, so you take my word for it. It'll come true. And if it doesn't, I'll wear a fake mustache for the following 6 confidential shows. That's a promise.
That's a bold prediction. You might have to do a little better than that, but we'll see how it goes. Would you say, sir, that those are your closing thoughts?
These are the closing thoughts for 2025, mate. And once again, thanks to everyone for tuning in. It was a very long show today, but super enjoyable. It was long because there's a lot to talk about with these agents. We can't do it in 5-10 minutes. It would be doing you all a disservice if we tried. So it's been super enjoyable today and throughout the year, mate. And I will see you next year.
Live Season 2, Episode 44 on this New Year's Eve, Wednesday, December 31st. Thank you, Soren, for being here. It is always a pleasure going live with you. Thanking you to all the people who show up week in, week out, in the comments, watching the show live or thereafter, sharing the clips. It means a lot to us. This is the last time we go live from coast to coast and around the world. See you next year. Take care, everyone.
Stay COTI.
Stay COTI.
Code so slick, circus they gobble. Encrypted hustle, no chains, no marbles. Faster than the rest, cost stays humble. Breaking through the game, watch others crumble. Nobody do it like this. Circus in the mist. Faster, cheaper, sharper, crypto alchemist. Others stuck in the lane, flipping the twist. Garble circus, baby, we the future, don't miss. Others move slow, we quantum in speed. Blocks they can't touch, fulfilling the need. Chains bound tight, but we unshackled. While they debug, our code is tackled. What they can't do, we already done. That game outdated, we just begun. Algorithms flex, they can't compete. Circuits garble, but the vision concrete. Nobody do it like this. Circus in the mist. Faster, cheaper, sharper, crypto alchemist. Others stuck in the lane, flipping the twist. Garble circus, baby, we